So let's move on. Let's turn to the people again who built companies from scratch and took them to the global stage. This is our business spotlight, led by Ajša Vodnik, chair of AmChams in Europe. Please, Ajša. But we are having now a different format. It's very simple. A short video introduction followed by fireside conversation focused on practical lessons and personal journeys. But we have to begin with this video message from Mr. Brzoska. He's a founder and CEO of InPost from Poland. Unfortunately, he stayed in Poland because he has very important meeting with Polish president about their future, maybe about Europe's future. As you know, Mr. Brzoska is, we can say, like Elon Musk of Poland. He co-create changes in Poland, maybe in the whole Europe. So please, let's hear and let's see the video message of Mr. Brzoska.
My name is Rafał Brzoska. I'm an entrepreneur by heart, investor and philanthropist, the founder and CEO of InPost, a European technology and logistics company developing last-mile services across several European Union countries. I mention this not to list titles, but to explain the lens through which I look at the regulation. Vision plus business plus public mission. That perspective guided my work on this particular effort. In Feb, I accepted the deregulation challenge set by Poland's Prime Minister and launched a grassroots project called Sprawdzamy, We Check In. It was an initiative of practitioners, people who wanted fewer diagnoses and more solutions. Our goal was straightforward. Propose a package of the regulation, simplification and business-friendly measures so that citizens, entrepreneurs and administration can act faster, more efficiently and more responsibly. From the outset, we chose transparency. We created a dedicated website where any citizen or organization could submit ideas, see what we were working on, and leave feedback. That communication channel became a bridge between everyday life and legislation, between the realities facing Polish businesses and the legal framework that governs them. Above all, I want to emphasize what really makes me most proud. This initiative was built by an extraordinary team of several hundred people full of passion and discipline. For 100 days, most of them worked pro bono, balancing a public mission with their professional duties, often at the expense of private time. I'm deeply grateful to them because they showed the energy that collective action for one's country can unleash. The public support proved invaluable as well. Over 15 to 16,000 submissions, 500,000 votes, and thousands of comments on sprawdzamy.com website made clear what citizens expect from the state: simplicity, predictability, and an end to bureaucratic absurdities. This was not a demand from a single sector. Of course, it was the voice of a majority that wants normality. And we achieved something rare in public life in Poland, and I suspect in Slovenia as well, a consensus across political lines. It was the first grassroots deregulation initiative of this scale in free Poland, and I'm convinced it will not be the last one. During our 100-day sprint, we prepared nearly 500 proposals to ease the daily life of citizens and businesses, and to help the administration itself, which too often gets stuck in its own procedures and loses sight of their purpose: effective public service. From experience, I know that hundreds of small yet vexing barriers act like a handbrake, release them, and the economy moves faster, institutions work better. We wanted our work to have a real and measurable effect. So we defined 7 priority areas, our so-called Big 7: taxation, digitalization of public services, the justice system, energy, EU law, healthcare, and improvements in public administration and the security sector. This was a true roadmap with clearly identified bottlenecks. And crucially, we have tangible progress. As of today, 73 sprawdzamy proposals have entered into force. 50 proposals took the form of acts of law and were signed by the President of the Republic of Poland. The new President, Karol Nawrocki, whom I mentioned at the outset, has already signed 18 of our proposals. A further 23 proposals were implemented in other ways, for example, through guidelines or regulations. 144 proposals have been accepted by the Council of the Ministers, and 64 are currently before Parliament at various stages of the legislative process. I thank President Karol Nawrocki for his careful approach to the regulation and his pledge to sign bills implementing sprawdzamy proposals. That is essential if good solutions are to start working quickly for millions of Poles, especially for small firms which most keenly feel the weight of regulation. I must add, however, that some of our energy sector deregulation measures proposed in the interest of citizens have not found favor with the new presidential administration. But we will work to explain more clearly why they matter to households, listen to the reservations in detail, and also respond to each of them. At this point, I would also like to highlight the role and importance of the people with whom we have worked on this project so far, to thank them and also to convey that I count on further fruitful cooperation on the project. I thank you, the Prime Minister Donald Tusk, and the government for undertaking this effort. And I thank all parliamentarians from every side of the political scene for supporting the regulation across party lines. Thanks to this, individual proposals, once transformed into law, will serve the Polish people rather than becoming grounds for political conflict. I also thank the President Andrzej Duda, with whom our cooperation has naturally already come to an end, but we appreciate his openness to projects that came into effect with his involvement, specifically at the beginning. Let me now briefly list several key proposals and invite you to consider whether similar changes would be helpful in Slovenia as well. In Poland, this included the presumption of the taxpayer's innocence and the rebalancing of the burden of proof, better access to the courts, strengthening national defense also through the regulation that speeds procurement and investment, development of the capital market, and above all, protecting the most vulnerable, mothers, single parents, students receiving support, and people with disabilities. We also focus on faster access to medical specialists and improving debt recovery, especially for small firms. We consider silent consent after administrative deadlines are exceeded to be critical, as well as rational redesign of local court jurisdiction. Underpinning this is the continued digitization of public services, which saves millions of citizens time, but also money. Poland and Slovenia are natural partners in the competition for competitiveness. We have similar SME structures, shared supply chains, and we wrestle with the same regulatory friction. The regulation is and should remain our shared language of growth. Listening to public sentiment matters, and in Poland, nearly 63% of citizens say they understand what the regulation is. Over 66% believe the project will benefit the economy. Nearly 75% see gains for SMEs, and 62% foresee benefits for ordinary citizens. I suspect Slovenian public opinion would align closely because the desire for clear rules and a capable state is universal. The sense is simple. We must make life easier for everyone, workers, entrepreneurs and officials alike. Good procedure is good for all. Clear rules and digital services shorten queues, cut costs and cool tempers. A state does not lose authority when it gives people back their time. It gains it. Let me finish with what matters most. We have reclaimed, as citizens, our rightful place in relation to the state, as partners, not petitioners. And that is how we must continue, step by step, statute by statute, with respect for institutions and determination in removing barriers. Thank you for your attention, and thank you to our Slovenian host for the invitation. I believe that together, in Poland, in Slovenia, and across our region, we can really build the regulatory conditions for growth that will strengthen our economies and their security, drive innovation, and bring people everyday relief. Let us deregulate wisely, build our strength, grow, and prosper together. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brzoska from InPost company. Ajša, that was a quite powerful opening, but now I invite two speakers. Martina Dalić, president of Podravka. Hello and welcome to the stage. And Dr. Jure, Knez, co-founder and president of Dewesoft. Welcome.
We'll just wave, Jure. So welcome on the stage. I'm really, really happy that when hearing about how mindset shift is important, we have here two great examples of business people who not talk about the shift, but are doing it. And I'm certain that with entrepreneurs like you, definitely what we heard is super important, and that is vision and business, and that is passion and discipline, and simplicity and predictability of our environment is already there. So first I'll invite you, all of you, to do a sort of game of associations. So when I say, please also you think about it, when I say entrepreneurship, Martina, what would be your first association?
Idea.
Idea? Jure?
Entrepreneurship, way of life.
Okay. When I say Europe?
The first association, stars.
Stars. Great. Jure?
I can't hear it myself, but I think of a really, really old lady.
Okay, and when I joined entrepreneurship and Europe together, Martina, what that would be?
A problem.
A problem, okay. Jure? Okay. So we know that many times we think too much about the issues, and then you entrepreneurs bring the challenges and you bring the solving of that. Jure, you started your company, one of the most respected European deep tech companies from Trbovlje, from the Slovenian Valley, from Tri Krasne, which Slovenians will understand. If you would put that in AI, you'd think that is in the three great ones, but actually Tri Krasne is in the end of the world. But what you actually are doing in Trbovlje and how you change the society, you're really making Trbovlje one of the cores and the hubs of the deep tech. And maybe how the spark came and how did you lead that to become one of the greatest companies in Europe?
Yes, actually when we started our business, if we would be focused only on our local region, then we would have 3 employees. So at the beginning we needed to go out in the world, and then we learned a lot. We learned what works, we learned what doesn't work well, and we have seen that the most important thing is the environment. And if the environment is welcoming, the people will come, and if it's not, they will leave. And this is actually the spark which I believe changed our region from the most underdeveloped region in Slovenia to at least to have a future. And these strange, odd creatures, animals called entrepreneurs are not only welcome in our region, they are heroes. They are in the environment which is helping, where they can discuss, and I think this really changed our environment. And last year we built one of the last factories which were possible to rebuild from the old Yugoslavian times. And just last week we were discussing that we need to put in some walls to accommodate all the new ideas. So basically we are full, and we need to think about the new steps. So always evolving.
And whomever did not hear about the book that Jure wrote, Acrobats, this is something that we can, when I think about entrepreneurs, I now think about acrobats, so thank you for that. Martina, when you came to Koprivnica, you did not come to a company that didn't have tradition, didn't have already many processes there, and you had to do a spark of transformation, of modernization. Do you think that was harder, and how you as a person actually demanded the changes and how you achieved them?
Well, I think it is important to underline I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm manager. I mean, Podravka, Group of Podravka is listed on Zagreb Stock Exchange, and it is a traditional industry, something completely different than the example we heard about. But I would say, if I have to say anything, that personally as a manager, I have few goals of my own, which are not related to the financial indicators and corporate structures. And basically, these goals are something that is driving me toward achievement of transformation, financial, structural, organizational of the company. And in order to understand such a structure of personal motivation, it is important to know, although some people in the room know, that there are two things everybody should know about Podravka to understand the transformation. Podravka is a very big company in a very small town. Koprivnica is a small town even for Croatian circumstances, 17,000 working people, of which 4,500 is employed in Podravka and Belupo, which is the heart of Podravka Group. And as such, company is or has been for a very long period of time under a strong influence of local community, local structures, local values, and local views on the business of the company. And the second important thing is that the major shareholder in Podravka's ownership structure is Croatian government. So it is majority owned by Croatian pension funds, but state has an important stake of 25%. These two things, I think, held company for a relatively long period of time at the level which was, I think, below the potential of the company. Here in the room is one of my predecessors, Mr. Zvonko Mršić, who was the president of management board between 2012 and 2016, so probably he also has an opinion about what I'm actually talking about. So my goal in such an environment was and is to show actually that the company in Croatian institutional ownership can be as successful as company led by a physical person or by a foreign investor, and that we can do everything that other companies are doing to be competitive, to beat the competition, to be agile in this fight across markets, and that we can change ourselves and our company in a way to achieve higher level of competitiveness, higher level of success, not only for the company and shareholders, but also for all stakeholders in the company, because I strongly believe company cannot be successful if all stakeholders do not participate in that success. They need to participate.
Martina, definitely, as you said, you're a manager, but what I'm hearing, definitely with entrepreneurial mindset. Jure, now when Dewesoft is so successful and it's really in the world perceived as one of the greatest companies in the deep tech, and you have great partners, everything seems really easy. But then again, being welcoming to the entrepreneurs and having all that, it started somewhere. Do you think that you as entrepreneurs should not wait that everything is done as it should be, because we know there are many things we would like to be changed, but you can start the story without that? Because also maybe, you know, when we talk about all the values, without capital, it would be really hard to then do anything. So how would you say, because I really don't want to hear all the time in Europe you cannot do anything. Though it's an old lady, I hope it's still an attractive one. So how do you see, you know, how you entrepreneurs can change and are changing the world without everything is as it should be? How we can do it?
No, I think that's not the point. Entrepreneurs' mindset is to try, to look at the opportunities and take the opportunities which are there. So our market segment allows that you have, let's say, the environment which is not optimal due to the added value. But we, on the other hand, we lost a lot of opportunities which moved away because of this. You know, so I think it's not correct to move the responsibility. Oh, entrepreneurs will handle that. We will not. You know, we can do things up to a certain extent, and then our limits are reached. Mm-hmm. You know, and you can see that by the fact that a lot of young people are moving out. A lot of companies they change the location. I believe if I look at the Balkan region, at least from the outside, I believe that the Croatia, Serbia, other countries are doing much more aggressive steps into making the environment better. If I look at the taxes and other things, we see that in our days' life, when somebody wants to join from abroad and they see and they look at the landscape and they see, oh, I would rather go to Serbia, for example, to live there. It's nice, and I get more money for what the company is paying for. And these are simple things where I believe that we should make a change. And Europe is becoming bureaucratic. I can't imagine the companies starting the business today with all the ESG regulations and all these things. I think we need those changes that we will still have at least a chance on the global scale.
Maybe, Martina, if we come to you, you also tried the other side, the government side, and it's maybe wrong to say us and them, because at the end of the day we are all one if we want to do the change. But when you were in the government, how did you watch on the side of entrepreneurs that probably demanded some changes, and do we do it in the right way? Should we change the way how we demand? Because sometimes it feels that we are bumping with our cats to the wall and nothing changes, even it goes downwards?
Look, I'm old-fashioned, and I still believe that it is the goal and the only goal of the public service to serve. And to serve the citizens and to serve the businesses. Because businesses, citizens, workforce create value added. And out of that value added, public service is financed. So that's still the structure of the world in my head. And I see that such a structure is not very popular these days, or majority of people do not see the structure and the division of roles in such a way. Therefore, we discussed a lot, and a lot of people talked about regulation. I really believe that regulation is here to enable, not to prevent or ban the business activity. So, in order to reach smarter regulation, in order to reach better business environment, there is no other way but to recognize what is impediment. The problem which is not defined, which is not recognized, cannot be solved. I mean, we can try a series of trial and errors, but if we are not ready to recognize what prevents us, what prevents our businesses, what prevents our economies to be stronger and grow stronger and be more innovative and be more agile, then we cannot solve such a problem. Unfortunately, I have to say that I really see a lot of activities and a lot of social processes which are somehow directed to maintain the existing situation and to actually avoid recognizing who is who and who is doing what in the society. I strongly also believe in balance, which means that new industries, new technologies, new innovative projects are perfect and excellent, but also somebody needs to plant the tomatoes. Therefore, we cannot, or at least in my opinion, we should basically improve the balance of different priorities across the society, because it is impossible to build strong upper part of the building if the foundations are not strong enough. And I think Europe still has an important problems with the strength of foundations.
Maybe, Jure, why do you think that there is this regulation all over? We want to prevent any risk which in the entrepreneurial mindset kind of doesn't exist. We want to have bulletproof everything from the scratch, but this doesn't come when we talk startups and scale-ups, even close to how you can build the company. Why do you think we are like that, and what would you kind of say how to change that?
You know, my opinion is that every time you see those regulations which are overwhelming, it comes because of the fear. We fear. We were, for hundreds of years, we were leaders, and now this is slowly fading away, and we fear what the future will bring. And I believe with this mindset, we will only accelerate this process. We should not be afraid of the future. We should control our future. At the moment, we don't control the top technologies of the future in e-mobility, in energy, in many, many different aspects. So what are we afraid of? You know, in my opinion, we are losing anyway. So let's be more aggressive to try to win, you know. So I believe this deregulation is absolutely necessary. The first step, I was very impressed about the speech we heard. I think these are the right initiatives. Let's not be afraid of the future. Let's just take the future and own it.
So let's be bold, and you are doing it in that way as attracting talents. Maybe if you can give us one spark how you do it, because you really nailed it. You really have great people.
Yeah, you know, today is really an important day. You know what day is it?
1st of September, first school day.
It's the first day of school, right. And there are lots of kids which are coming to the school for the first day in their life. And you know they have glow in their eyes, right? And then when they go to the next grades, this glow is
Declining.
Yes. Why is that? We should educate the winners. You know, we should give them the glow in their eyes. And what we are doing with robotics, with the math school, with everything what we are doing in Catapult, in the city of acrobats, we are giving them the idea of the future. In the secondary school, they already start their businesses and they are doing the first project. They get a feeling of what the real life is, and they have a chance to talk to everybody in our environment, have the access to the machines and technology and experiences. And I think this is the right way of going forward.
And this is the glow that we want to see in the entrepreneurs. So Jure, great job you're doing, really. Driving here, I heard on radios that the moderator called his son and he said, "Hey, this is your first day of the school. So are you happy?" And the little guy said, "No." And he said, "Oh, you will feel that 60 years from now." But what do you do, Martina? Not that your people who are coming, who are in the traditional company, that you manage to transform, to be competitive, to be different, and which is an important part of your society, your city, your country, that they come with the glow and that they see, even for traditional industry, that their talent can be used?
Well, I think it is really important that people enjoy their work and the results of their work. So therefore, I'm somehow trying to send a message to the company that we made the decision, we choose the path, the trajectory along which we wanted to move forward, and that along that path we have our small victories. Okay, we have also some failures, but we should enjoy in our small victories. We should somehow be pleased that certain successes are achieved, and that somehow the way and the idea I'm trying to communicate to the others, and the idea along which I'm trying to lead people, and I'm trying to participate in all these events, and I'm personally extremely happy when we together manage to achieve something that we decided for ourselves, because this is the way how at least I'm trying to change the corporate culture and mentality. Because in the core of all these issues is, of course, the mentality, the attitudes, the way how people perceive their job, their role, their importance. And somehow I would like to build the corporate culture which praises success, in which people thrive and in which people want to play in the Championships League, not in the regional one.
Great.
The county.
The last question, actually, I'll pass to you because curiosity is something that is really important. So, Jure, one question that you can ask Martina, and then vice versa. A quick one. What are you curious about, Martina, and vice versa?
Oh, okay. So I'm really interested there. I see that Croatia is really moving forward really fast, reducing the tax rates, and it seems like you have a really great chance. How do you see that? Is it true, or is it just an impression? Many startups are generated, unicorns.
Guys, that Croatia is rapidly reducing the tax burden. That's your impression. We would like to have faster reduction in tax burden. We would like to have a better communication and dialogue, I think, about real impediments of growth in Croatia. And I personally believe, and I think a number of people in this room share that view, that during last 10 years, let's say, the economic situation, standard of living, the situation in the society improved significantly. But at least I think that we could move faster, that we could achieve more. And the way how I'm trying to lead Podravka and how I'm trying to transform the company, of course, with the help of a number of my colleagues, and I believe how Gordon is trying to transform Končar is actually our small contribution to that idea and to that ambition.
So the grass is not more greener, Jure. Martina, the question for Jure, a quick one because we don't want to stand in front of the lunch.
I would like actually to ask about the people. Asja mentioned that you have a great people, a great team, and actually I would like to ask you about your experience. To what extent and how are you managing to attract good people to come to a relatively small town, and basically, how do you handle the human resource challenge, the challenge with good human capital in a small country like Slovenia? It's not an easy task, I assume.
Yes, the country is already small, and our town is really, really small with 16,000 people and 60,000 people in the three valleys. So it's a challenge, and the answer is simple. One by one. So I'm joking a little bit, but I think everything is really about the environment you create. You know, we have the model of co-owning the company, that the employees can buy shares. We are now starting the model of micro-enterprises that everybody can have a small company within a bigger group, and also with Catapult we are giving our resources and knowledge to the young people. So there are a certain percent of people in every population which are the future. And I always like to say that the Socrates said, "Oh, what will the future bring with this youth?" But the world is still turning, and I believe what we see is that it will still turn. You know, it is there are young people who still have the glow in their eyes and want to change the world, and this is where our future lies. And there is always few percent of the people who can, no matter what you do, they can't be changed. But the issue is the big mass in between. I think for those, the systems needs to be operational and needs to be rewarding and welcoming that the population as a whole can be successful.
Thank you so much for giving us food for thought, also giving us glow and spark. Just one thing, Slovenia is not small, it's right sized. Thank you so much.